Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading. This is going to be a Mercury retrograde reading for the retrograde that's happening between the 9th and the 29th of November. Your first row is going to represent the past cycle that you are going to be dealing with during this retrograde. You have this card that says, what do you need to release? And you also have this card that says the answers you need are coming. So apparently, whatever you need to release, you will be getting answers on during this retrograde, which is good because sometimes retrogrades can be confusing and sometimes we don't get answers on those things. So, like I said, it is probably a good thing that you are getting those answers. This retrograde is a good one definitely for releasing anything that no longer serves you or anything that's slowing you down or getting in the way. With the Two of Swords here, anything that's stuck, right? The Two of Swords can be being stuck in a stalemate or not sure what your next move should be. And so you could be getting some answers, on like what your next move should be in life or where you should be going. And so that looks pretty good. In this row of the past cycle, again, that you will be focusing on, you have the Four of Swords, Two of Swords, Four of Pentacles. Four of Swords is a great card for Mercury retrograde. It is my Mercury retrograde card. It is a card of resting, relaxing, recovering, healing, hoping and praying for blessings, like all good things to be doing during a Mercury retrograde. So I would be, making sure that you're taking enough time to recharge your batteries. It's kind of an interesting retrograde because it seems to be a little bit active, like, people could be taking more action or, people could be feeling like they want to take action on things during the retrograde. So, it is going to be important that if you are taking action, that you're also kind of balancing the other side of the scale and that you're resting, relaxing, and recovering. I think it's an excellent retrograde to get answers as well. Even in the November monthly readings that I did, this came up for a lot of people. But, during retrogrades, it can be a little bit subtle, the answers that we're receiving. So, taking time to meditate or go for a walk or wherever you get your answers, taking that extra time is going to be very good for you because it will give you answers on whatever it is that you need answers on. You have the Two of Swords. So Two of Swords, like being stuck in a stalemate. Again, this row is representing the past cycle that you're dealing with during this retrograde. So if you have had a habit of not being able to make up your mind or to make a decision, you could finally be making a decision on something at this time. Again, she's thinking this or that, but she has this island behind her, and that island kind of represents another option that she isn't really paying attention to or that she doesn't see. She also has this blindfold on, and the blindfolds in the tarot represent needing to trust your intuition or the messages that you're receiving. So I think that kind of this row is asking you to listen to the more subtle messages because that might be the thing that sets you free from the stalemate that you're in or whatever is keeping you stuck. And, it definitely looks like a good reading for doing that. You even have the Ace of Swords. It's a good reading. You have very good cards in the rest of the reading. Not that you don't really have any, super challenging cards here. So I think that in a lot of ways, you could be setting yourself free. I think the biggest benefit for Scorpio is Uranus, actually. Uranus in the middle of the month, around, basically 5 days or 6 days after this Mercury retrograde starts on the 9th, we have Uranus going into Taurus. So that's all about freedom for you fixed signs, and you could definitely be setting yourself free. You have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles, I feel, for water signs right now is about where you have been playing too small. And so I feel the water signs, are being kind of asked to play big, to be big, and to take up more space, and to take bigger risks. It's the Four of Pentacles is okay. He has support. He has those Four of Pentacles. It's a foundational card, but by holding on to those Four of Pentacles, he might be preventing himself from having the Ten of Pentacles. It's like he's holding on to what was instead of opening up to what could be. And, I kind of feel like that's what this reading is saying, is that Scorpio needs to open up to what could be in their life. With the Four of Swords, you have the Sun. Like I said, very good reading. You definitely have the best reading out of all the water signs so far. I mean, we might ruin that in a minute, but what I would say here is that so far definitely looks very positive. The sun is your attention. So this first row is, again, this first row wants you to pay attention to the past cycles or a past cycle that you're either clearing up or getting answers on. And the sun just wants you to pay attention to your attention, because it will probably be showing you what you need to pay attention to, which is good. The sun can also be fun. So I think having more fun would be good for you during this time as well. With the Two of Swords, you have the Queen of Cups. Yes, every single water sign has this problem right now because of Neptune and Pisces, Neptune retrograde in frickin' Pisces, right? It's a nightmare. I'm a Pisces. I don't even like it. So the problem with Neptune and Pisces is that your brain is telling you one thing. Your heart is telling you something else. And probably what your heart is telling you to do might not make perfect sense. It's like, obviously, if your brain is saying, yes, go get a career, be a nurse, be a whatever it is that you are, to make money because you have to support yourself. But your heart might be saying, like, oh, I want to open a cotton candy factory, right? It's like you might be telling your heart, that's freaking crazy. How am I going to be successful doing that? But the thing is that with Neptune and Pisces, if we follow that heart-based dream, you never know, right? You might come up with some way to make millions of dollars selling cotton candy. So, as ridiculous as that sounds, we all, especially water signs, are being asked to focus on that big impossible dream. Water signs are being asked to build and leave a legacy with the Ten of Pentacles. So, don't be afraid of doing those crazy ideas. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, teamwork. It's like if you are stuck, if you are trying to expand and grow and get more out of life, Three of Pentacles can say you just need to work with other people. Three of Pentacles wants us to work with people who support the vision. He's doing the work and he is going to get the credit, but these people are supporting him in his journey. So if you don't have people who can support you, then, it's time to go find people who can support you. It's time to find people who lift you up, who want the best for you. There's a million things you can do. You can join groups. There are plenty of free groups all over the internet of supportive people. There are plenty of groups, I'm sure, where you live in person, which is even better, right? And so I would go do something, because I think it will make you better here, Scorpio. Sorry, I just messed up all the cards, and I didn't want to do that. Your next row is going to represent what needs clearer or closer attention at this time. During retrograde, sometimes we have to pay attention to something. You have this wolf. It says, beware of who you trust. You also have this Wervin. It says your secrets are safe. So your secrets are safe, but I definitely wouldn't blindly trust anyone. I think this is very true for fixed signs as well, that you've probably learned a lot of lessons over the years about like who you can trust, who you can't trust, who is good for you, who's bad for you. And so it's going to be important that you pay attention to the people that come into your life at this time. I don't really think the universe like tests us necessarily. I know some people say that, but I don't know that is necessarily true, but I definitely feel that, if we put the energy out that we're not going to trust people who hurt us anymore, then, there's a good chance that we're going to attract a person who would. And we just need to pay attention and not allow that person into our life, right? And that's what I would do here. You have the Four of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Nine of Cups. Again, this is also in the area of what needs closer attention during this retrograde. The Four of Wands is freedom. So yeah, sure, it could represent marriage, and there is good love stuff in this reading. These readings aren't meant to be love readings. So what I would say here is that this is about freedom and setting yourself free, which is, again, is a major, major theme for fixed signs right now. And, it will continue to be a theme. So the Four of Wands can represent completion. It's kind of like a finish line card. We have to finish something and celebrate with these people on the other side of the card so that we can have something better or so that we can be more free. And that's really what I would be focusing on here, Scorpio, is like how you can set yourself free or how you can become more free in your life. That'll be the biggest benefit for you. I would also be paying attention to like symbols. It's kind of like an 1111 card. And I don't know, I rarely ever say that, but it is popping into my head that, you might be thinking about something important. You might see like 1111 on the clock, or it might be another number like 222 or something like that. I feel like those symbols or those signs are signs. I feel like the universe is sending you signs right now. If you're thinking about something, like if you see a repeating number or whatever, what were you thinking about? It's probably the universe being like, yes, go that direction, right? You have the King of Wands. All three water signs had something about like needing to be bold or more assertive during this retrograde. The retrograde is happening in Sagittarius, of course. It's starting in Sagittarius. And I do feel that water signs should be like more focused, more clear. Water signs should be thinking about, where they want to grow more. And that is the area of life, wherever that is. It could be anything. It could be love, business, health, spiritually, whatever. That is what I would be more bold at. The other thing about the King of Wands is he is very futuristic. And so he has very innovative ideas. And, definitely a good time for you to trust your innovations. You have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, a very good time for wishes, apparently. Again, I think Cancer had something about wishes as well. And I have said this month is very lucky for water signs. Even though we have a retrograde, we also have this water trine that's actually going to be hitting multiple times this month. And it's with Jupiter in Cancer. So, even though it's a retrograde, retrogrades don't ruin things. Retrogrades don't make things bad. I think retrogrades get a bad rap. They're necessary. We need them. And, I think that this one, this month could still be very lucky for you. And I would be making a wish. I would be taking action on a wish, because you go up to the Knight of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles. It's like if you take action, you might actually get results much sooner than you're thinking. Knight of Pentacles is very slow, but to make that leap to the Ten of Pentacles, it's like, actually it's like you might think that something is going to happen slowly, but it might happen a lot faster than you think. With the Four of Wands, you have the Three of Cups. Yeah, people are obviously going to be very important for you this month. Three of Pentacles, Three of Cups. So I would be focusing on those people who really come from a position of love, of course, and those people who really lift you up, like I said, with the Three of Pentacles. These three people are celebrating a harvest as well. And again, you have the Ten of Pentacles in this reading, which is, can be a harvest or a lot of abundance coming in for you. And so if you're thinking about, maybe you've been working on a project or something else, if you're thinking about putting that project out into the world, even though it's a retrograde, doesn't matter. If you have been working on something since before the retrograde, it's perfectly fine to put whatever you've been working on out into the world during the retrograde, because you've already been doing it, right? And so I think it would be perfectly fine for you to have that harvest. With the King of Wands, you have the Tower. Yeah, a lot of Tower energy already during these retrogrades. I mean, we're in a time of global Tower moments. I haven't been wrong. I predicted this a long time ago. Some of you OGs will remember. So, I don't know. We're going to see a lot of Tower moments. It just is the time that we're in. I feel for you this could actually be an answer, because we go down to the Ace of Swords right here. And so towers, again, don't have to be bad. Towers can bring us down to reality, but with the Ace of Swords, this could be some sort of truth that's being revealed, or some sort of insight that you're getting, and I really wouldn't worry about it at all. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Six of Pentacles. Yeah, Six of Pentacles is like slow, steady progress. It's planting seeds in a direction. So I feel pretty good about that Knight of Pentacles. It's like you are making progress. It might be a little slow, but that's okay. It's a Mercury retrograde. Take your time. It's okay to be slow during a retrograde, because you don't want to make necessarily like big mistakes. It's what I will say though is Mercury retrograde is a great time for like little mistakes, or mistakes that will teach you something, because we learn like 1,000 times faster during a Mercury retrograde. So don't be afraid of, what I'm trying to spit out here is don't be afraid of making mistakes, but at the same time, taking your time will prevent the big mistakes that can cause a problem. Next, in the area of the hidden message of this Mercury retrograde, you have this healing card and this relationship card. Yeah, a lot of you, it is a very good time for healing. So the whole entire year, really, this is a healing year. It is the year of the snake, and there's a snake, or there's two snakes on that Chiron card, or one snake. I don't know. Is that one or two? It looks like two, but I think it's one. So it doesn't matter. There is a snake on that card. And so it's a great time for healing. You could be kind of like healing a relationship, or healing something in a relationship as well, of course. You have the Four of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. Again, we're looking at the hidden message of this Mercury retrograde for you in this row. And the Four of Cups could be about you giving something a second chance. And, he's tried something like 3 times before, and now he's about to try again. I'm pretty sure that I've been saying this to you a lot this year, that it would be a good year for Scorpio to like go back to the drawing board or to try something that they've tried before again. And so if you're doing that, like on a project, a business, an idea, something with your health, whatever, it could be anything. If you're thinking about trying something again, I would, because what he needs to know is that he learned what he needs to do from these 3 cups. He just has to apply the lessons to this other cup, and he will be much more successful. Also, Scorpio, make sure to like and leave a comment. Really helps me out. You have this Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles can be like slow, steady progress forward. I feel you are making slow, steady progress. It might not be overnight, although, again, I do see that 10 of Pentacles is kind of like a leap that could be happening where, you kind of make some sort of leap after, sustained effort into something. So I think it's going to be worth it for you to like work on projects, whatever it is that you're doing this month. And it could lead to a lot of progress. I also think you're learning a lot. The Knight of Pentacles represents knowledge. He has these oak leaves on his helmet. The horse has oak leaves right here. Oak leaves in the tarot represent knowledge and wisdom. And this retrograde is starting in Sag. So Sagittarius is all about learning. And anything that you can learn that could make you more successful will make you more successful this month. You have the Ace of Swords, which is like a victory. A lot of victory energy in these readings. I've done a bunch of these readings already, and a lot of people have had these cards of like victories or big wins coming in. The Ace of Swords can represent like a victory over an obstacle. The sword is above these mountains, meaning that you could be overcoming some sort of obstacle. We also have this palm frond here, this olive branch over here. Palm fronds in the tarot can represent making a sacrifice. Olive branch can be an offer of peace, or can represent abundance. The sword cuts both ways, so sometimes we have to like remove one thing to have something better. I kind of feel like you're creating a tower moment here, Scorpio. We have the Tower to the Ace of Swords. This could be you like deciding that you want to leave a job. And I would, again, we are definitely in a time where you don't want to just quit your job. Go get something else first and then quit. But this is kind of giving me the feeling that in the future, maybe you're not, maybe you are, maybe you aren't doing this right now, that you could be like leaving a job and causing a tower moment for your boss or something like that. But at the same time, I think it would be a good thing for you because it's going to lead to a victory. With the Four of Cups, you have the Six of Cups. Four of Cups with the Six of Cups represents needing to not take something too seriously. We also have these polka dots on this lady here on the Three of Pentacles. Polka dots in the tarot represent needing to not take things too seriously. So I definitely feel it would be a good time to be more playful, be more childlike. Six of Cups is children. There are these 2 children on the card. Six of Cups has everything to do with everything with children, like asking questions. Children ask a lot of questions, being curious. Children aren't necessarily too careful. I always say that she has this oven mitt. It looks like an oven mitt, to me, at least, on her hand. And so sometimes I think with the Six of Cups that we're being too delicate with something and we're too afraid to break something. And we need to, like, I'm not suggesting that you should go nuts and break a bunch of stuff, right? But you could probably take bigger risks. We have Uranus going back into Taurus. Taurus is the bull in a china shop. Taurus is your opposite sign, Scorpio, right? Again, I'm not saying that you should go break things on purpose, but what I am saying is it's okay to, enter into something with a bang. It's okay to be a little bit of a bull in a china shop and, shake things up in your life. And I feel this is encouraging you to do that. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the 2 of Wands. Yeah, it's like you're taking the lead on something. I've said it a million times. Water signs are the leaders of the future. So I think that water signs are going to continue to get these cards of leadership forever, basically until I'm dead, right? And so, and I'm going to die at 97, by the way, falling up the stairs. So there's nothing to worry about. You'll have plenty of time with me here, Scorpio. But what I would say here is that, I think you're going to basically take the lead on things. Now, he has to leave a comfort zone. So, and we have the 4 of Pentacles. So I would definitely, don't be afraid of putting yourself out there is what I'm trying to say. He needs to step out of this castle and he needs to go explore the world to have a true success. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Lovers. Definitely could be love. Like I said, these readings aren't really meant to be love readings, but we have the Page of Cups here. You had several other relationship cards. So even though it's Mercury retrograde, still, it doesn't matter. I always tell people, I think it's ridiculous when people say don't date during retrogrades and things like that, because I've known plenty of people that are still together today that met during retrogrades forever and seem perfectly happy. So, I think it's ridiculous. We shouldn't let astrology control our lives. And again, people always come at me and say that you should. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to follow all the rules, then you should not even breathe. That's how astrology works. So, I don't know. That's your choice, but whatever. I think for the rest of you that don't care, again, there could be love. It could also just be communication, right? With the Ace of Swords. So it could just be a person that, and you could just start with communication. And guess what? If the communication is good during a freaking retrograde, it's going to be amazing after. So, there you go. Next, what are we doing? How to move forward during this retrograde. You have the sudden wealth card, and you have the Ten of Pentacles. It says big financial gain, winnings, monetary gift, financial success, inheritance, inner and outer wealth. Amazing. You have this playmate card. It says player, playing games, not serious, informal, recreation, sexual partner, hidden benefits, fun activities. I think you should focus on fun. Obviously, avoid players, right? You have that Four of Cups. The Four of Cups says you know what to look out for. So if someone's coming in, and you know that they're a player, guess what? Avoid them. Plain and simple, Scorpio. And don't give them the time of day. If someone comes in and the evidence shows you that they're a good person, then obviously continue talking to them. Perfectly plain and simple. Also, I think the whole reading wants you to have more fun. You have so many cards. Three of Pentacles with the polka dots, the Sun, Three of Cups, Six of Cups, wants you to be playful, just with life in general. That is probably where the wealth is going to come from with that sudden wealth card. So there you go. You have the Ten of Pentacles, sudden wealth coming in. The Page of Cups, the Hermit. The Ten of Pentacles is focusing on building, leaving a legacy. It is the big picture. It is the holistic vision. It is everything that you want and desire in your life. And I would get clear on what you want with the Ten of Pentacles during this retrograde. I think it'll help you move forward the most. But, I definitely feel that you could be making a big leap here with it going from Knight of Pentacles to Ten of Pentacles. It just feels to me like something, kind of taking off. I'm not trying to be mysterious or anything, but again, I think at a certain point when we're working on something consistently, we reach critical mass and we just take off. This channel was stuck at 40,000 subscribers for years. There were other readers blowing past me. I just kept going. I just kept learning. And eventually, all of a sudden, I took off to 100,000 very, very quickly, right? So again, I totally believe that if sometimes we just have to give something sustained effort, and eventually we're going to reach that point where it takes off. And, that's what I feel here. You have the Page of Cups. Again, could be a little bit of love. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be a person who's communicating with you or wants to communicate with you. Could be a very solid connection. It looks good, minus that player card. But obviously, like I said, you will see it. And if you see it, then you should avoid it. Plain and simple. You have the Hermit. Is the Hermit a bad card during Mercury retrograde? Not really. I mean, it's okay to be in Hermit mode during a retrograde, but at the same time, the Hermit needs to realize he's completed his journey. He doesn't need to be in Hermit mode any longer. He has learned what he needed to learn. He's found his inner light. So at a certain point, he needs to come down from the mountain and shine his inner light, which I definitely feel you do, Scorpio. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Moon. The Moon can represent fears, fantasies, illusions, not seeing things clearly. Again, the Moon just says sustained effort. You just have to keep pushing forward. The Fool, this is part of the Fool's journey. He just has to reach those mountains and he will be successful. You just have to keep going. With the Page of Cups, you have the Seven of Cups. Yeah, again, maybe it would be perfectly fine for you to talk to a person if you're finding love during this Mercury retrograde. The Seven of Cups can be a little bit of confusion, not being sure if something is good or bad for you. But maybe you should just keep it at conversation. And see what happens after the retrograde, like in December, right? And if the person sticks around and there's still, good communication, then you can make your decision in December. With the Hermit, you have two cards. You have the the Ace of Pentacles and the Star. The Hermit has the star in his lantern, and he needs to shine that star out all over the place. The Ace of Pentacles is a big opportunity, so there's probably an opportunity that is coming from you Scorpio, because that star is like your inner light, and the opportunity is for you to show off or for you to get attention or something like that. You have this pig card that says beware of greed. Yeah, I would beware of greedy people. I think everybody needs to. This year I've talked about it before, so I would be careful of that. You have this camel that says persevere and you will overcome your problem. The whole entire reading is sustained effort is the best word that I could use. So I think as long as you keep going and working towards that 10 of Pentacles, whatever the 10 of Pentacles is for you, you will have a victory. You have this crown. It says honor and respect will come to you. So again, star, hermit. If he comes down from the mountain and shines his inner light, that's where the honor and respect will come from. But he needs to, show the world what he's made of. And maybe that's what you're doing, Scorpio. It's like you're showing the world what you're made of. He's not telling anyone anything. He's just doing. He's just living his life. 10 of Pentacles. He's living his perfect life. And if you do that, then you will get the respect. You have the spear card. It says heartache over what you no longer have. Yeah, I would at Mercury retrograde, we think about things that we don't have anymore. So, I would just heal your heart. And finally, you have this February card and this gavel. It says involvement with the law. Yeah, if you're dealing with like a legal situation or something, you could be getting answers like between now and February. Makes perfect sense. In February, we have Saturn leaving Pisces, going into Aries. January, Neptune goes direct in Aries. It moves into Aries. It will be direct in Pisces, but again, it doesn't move back into Aries until the end of January. I think I just said June, but January. And so, makes perfect sense. But this looks pretty good, Scorpio. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your month.